Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the opening press conference of EMO Hannover 2023. Finally, we have the EMO again. Finally, we have you all here. It's great to have you all here. We would like to present the highlights of the next few days to you. Our General Commissioner, Karl-Martin Welker, will do so, and in the second part of our press conference, we will drill down deeper in one issue, which is e-mobility, electromobility. Lots of companies are dealing with this at the moment, and I'm sure it's going to be quite important on the trade fair as well. Without further ado, I'd like to hand the floor to Mr. Welker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to EMO Hannover 2023. We're very glad that you have come to hear about our world's leading trade fair in production technology. And we're also very glad that after 4 years, we have about 1,850 exhibitors from 42 countries to present their services and goods in the next days for industry all over the world. The trade show is under the motto Innovative Manufacturing. This underlines our claim to be the central platform for all topics surrounding production. EMO maps the entire value-added chain, so it's more or less the smart factory, if you will. This is where the latest machines are presented. This is where technical solutions and new applications are shown. This is where trends are discussed, and this is where investment is done. At the focus of EMO is technology, dialogue, and network. But EMO is much more than a mere sales platform. It moves production technology right into the center of life with the topic Future Insights. It takes up 3 mega topics that influence society, politics, and industry intensively at the moment. This is the future of business, the future of connectivity, and the future of sustainability in production. Future Insights will show that production technology is not just an insider topic for production experts, but that it responds with technical solutions to the urgent problems of our times. This is what's presented by exhibitors at the trade show in an impressive variety and depth. This is what experts are going to discuss in very diversified supporting programs in the forums in Hall 9 and 16 and at different conferences with the trade audience. Now, at the stands, the entire range of production technology will be represented. The focus will be, among others, production systems, cutting tools, and clamping devices, measurement instruments, and controls. The width and diversity of the technical portfolio will reflect the challenges for industrial production, in particular higher efficiency, more flexibility, better quality, higher precision, the involvement of artificial intelligence, the comprehensive connectivity in the factory, automation, electric mobility, and circular economy. This diversity is unique at international trade shows. As a world leading trade show of production technology, EMO Hannover aims at reflecting all the important topics surrounding the industrial value-added chain, presenting state-of-the-art and demonstrating scenarios for future development. This is what you will see at the stands of our exhibitors. And the supporting program too has many interesting things on offer. I will just name a few buzzwords so that you know what not to miss. At our special booths, additive manufacturing area, open space cobot solutions area, connectivity area, and future of sustainability and production area, companies will showcase themselves who have special things to offer on these specific subjects and want to highlight them. Then there are 3 special stands that will address strategic topics. Umati, with a major live demonstration of an end-to-end standardized data exchange from the entire factory on the basis of information models according to OPC-UA companion specifications. Numerous partners have also connected their machines, components and software solutions. And apart from machine tools manufacturers, also suppliers for geometric metrology, additive production, robotics, image processing and software will be represented. For the operators of production technology, this is an invaluable asset because with these data they can actually control their entire production. The opening of UMATI, the live demonstration, is something that you can see live at the EMO H-Up hall. In the startup area, there will be about 60 young companies presenting their solutions for production. They are looking for cooperation with established companies and they will want to get into contact with new customers, investors, and of course they're at exactly the right place at EMO. Against the backdrop of the EMO Startup Night with speed dating tomorrow night, our exhibitors and visitors will have an opportunity to get to know new company founders in person and get into contact in a relaxed atmosphere. At the special stand education and training, which has been a fixture at VDW trade shows, the Junior Professionals Foundation for Mechanical Engineering will tell or show what the creative projects and suppliers are. This time, apart from young people, the trainees and the teachers will be at the focus of their attention. The Junior Professionals Brand Foundation of Mechanical Engineering will show them, together with many partners, the opportunities of modern training and education, and the requirements of digitization will be taken into account. Partners such as Vesta Didactic or the Christiani Editors House will involve attractive educational content. And the Junior Professionals Foundation Mechanical Engineering also supports companies in the introduction and implementation of digital education content. And in order to make it attractive for young people, apart from the process chain to manufacture a Formula One car, we're also offering the students really tech venture technologies more than maths. And different exhibitors from Hall 2 to Hall 8 are going to participate with interesting tasks and chores for the young talents. At the Innovation Forum in Hall 9 and the New Technology Forum in Hall 16, the exhibitors of our special stands will be presenting themselves in presentations. Furthermore, strategic topics against the background of future insights will be focused on in different formats, from presentations to interviews to panel discussions. On 2 half days, the subject will be new digital work, opportunity or disenfranchisement, or business opportunities in the new markets, taking the example of India. Against the background of future of sustainability and production, energy system planning on the way to carbon neutrality is going to be presented. The path to carbon neutral production is going to be demonstrated, and potentials of the circular economy are going to be discussed. Electric mobility, that more and more machine tool manufacturers are taking up into their product portfolio, and on whose prevalence we will hear more later on. We also have a half day dedicated to this. Now, I would also like to recommend tomorrow's panel discussion, Sustainable Production Value Chain. How does industry tackle the future? Together with Dr. Busch from Siemens, Dr. Mori from DMG, and Dr. Wiedel von Samson of Samsung, we will discuss the topic tomorrow lunchtime in the room next door, and we're really expecting a very interesting talk. Ladies and gentlemen, now you have heard a whole range of buzzwords whose expansive representation would require too much time just now. This is why you should just go there yourself and look and see how modern production has further developed in the past few years. Comprehensive information on the when and where can be found at the EMO website, www.emo-hannover.de, in the exhibitor registration, in the calendar, and in the exhibitor's news. Now, regarding the mood and the success of a trade show, the economic situation, of course, always plays a major role, because, of course, we are expecting strong impetus from EMO. Irrespective of the economic situation, different developments are providing great potential for production technology in the medium and long term. For instance, the continuing automation that is moving on, also because of the lack of skilled labor, the increasing degree of digitization, which requires the capacity expansion of chip production, the booming electric mobility, for which the need and demand for electric motors and battery systems is increasing, the setting up of so-called critical infrastructures in the triad in Europe, in America, and in Asia, in order to become more independent and in order to ensure that the supply chains for chips, batteries, and medical products can be placed in a more resilient way. High expenses in the United States, in Europe, and China for the expansion of renewable energies from wind power, solar, and hydrogen, and increasing investment into the arms industry. On most of these subjects, there are several bits of information and offerings at EMO. Currently, the international economic situation is in a difficult situation, and in machine tools too, there is a weak demand worldwide. Essential reasons for this are the high degree of inflation, increased interest rates, higher energy prices, and a weak China. For 2023, an increase of global machine tool production of nominally only 3% is expected, after the 12% plus in the past year, calculated at the euro basis, respectively. Now, currently, the order backlog is still supporting the situation, but the replenishment is missing. And since the second quarter 2022 up until the present day, these are declining. In the first half of the year 2023, there was a minus of nominally 12%. In real terms, the decline, because of the high inflation in Europe and the United States, is even more marked. This weak demand concerns all the regions all over the world, but is particularly marked in China. We don't have any usable data directly from China. However, the order intake of other big manufacturing countries suggests a demand decline of about 1/4. And our demand to politicians all over the world, but in particular in Europe, is to not have a tax subsidy or individual subsidies, but to have open markets, lower taxes and fees, and less bureaucracy and more entrepreneurial leeway. Even if the situation isn't all that easy at the moment, industry benefits from the stocks a little bit, but also from the easing supply chains and the declined energy prices in some parts. Important customer industries of machine tools are going to grow in accordance with the forecast of 2023 with 2.7%, even more strongly than industry as a whole with only 1.1%. Branches of industry such as aviation will invest over proportionately after a long lean period. This is also expected by the automotive industry with the drive electric mobility and from the mechanical engineering industry as a supplier. For 2024, the VDW forecast partner Oxford Economics is expecting that industrial production will recover a little bit, and that in particular the investment of important customer industries of machine tools will grow over proportionately, and the machine tool industry will benefit from this. For 2024, Oxford Economics forecasts a recovery of the world market for machine tools with an increase of 7%. However, this requires that inflation next year declines markedly. From further decades, we know that EMO has its share in the development of the international order intake. In 2019, for instance, orders in the following quarter increased worldwide by 5%, and in Europe even by 18%, until they were thwarted by COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I would like to wrap up my short overview of EMO Hannover 2023. I would like to invite you to participate in the opening ceremony from 10 o'clock on in H Up, and also join us tonight at the international reception in Pavilion 33. I hope that you have a very interesting trade show with many interesting meetings and talks and lots of success. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Welker. Before we have a short round of questions and answers, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Wittler from FEV Consulting in Aachen, and he is going to show us new study results on e-mobility. Machine tool industry at an early point of time had to deal with this issue, which is why VDW early on, together with the VDMA, authorized a study that shows the potential of e-mobility for the production of machine tools. And it is this study which we now have updated, and Dr. Wittler is going to introduce the current results to us. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Becker. Thank you, Mr. Welker. You already said e-mobility is a very important topic, also for machine tool manufacturers, but also for all of the other companies along the value chain. Let's just take a look at what this means, where e-mobility is positioned, how it will progress, and what kind of effects we have to expect. Let's take a look at it. After COVID, we had a dip of demand also with passenger cars worldwide. Sales went down. Be that as it may, when we take a look at the last year, 10% of all globally sold cars were battery electric only cars. And when we take a look into the future, we expect that this share is going to be stepped up considerably till 2025. We'll double this to 17 million, and up to 2040, if there are no further unexpected disruptions from the market, that 3/4 of all newly sold passenger cars and cars in total will be electric, which means a giant change for the value chains, for products, for competencies that are required in companies, for the individual capabilities that the staff has to have, and not least for the products that have to be produced along the value chain. That includes machine tools. Let's take a look at the three most important markets for passenger cars. Let's take a bit of a more detailed look what it means. Components and systems that are in the context of ICE engines are called mature technologies. They are more and more declining and disappearing when it comes to the significance, but next to it there's a huge potential for technologies and components and products that are seen in the context of electric vehicles, which is what we call emerging technologies here. And these have rather steep growth rates. Companies are changing their setup. We'll see it on EMO today. I'm quite looking forward to find out what kind of novelties we'll see that specifically address the issue of e-mobility. As a company in the machine tool industry, you have to take these opportunities seriously. You have to use them and match the challenges that there are out there. Let's take a closer look at Europe. It becomes quite clear the systems that we see here and we have a distinction as to what kind of technology they belong to. You see what kind of growth or shrinkage there is. Legacy system means cylinder heads, cylinder blocks, and there you see quite a steep decline, in particular in the next decade from now till 2030. And on the other side, we see the many green boxes to be seen in the context of e-mobility and electric vehicles, major growth potential that there is, provided you work in that challenging field. And there is a topic in between that's thermal management systems, very important for combustion engines, but they also stay important in the area of e-mobility. So maybe for some companies that's an interesting finding as well. Now, if we take the sales potential of drive technology, and if we take that to the investment capex needs for machine tools and plants, you see that investment is undergoing a shift. With the emerging technologies for e-mobility, we see rather a steep upswing. Last year estimated 2.8 billion. This is in 2030 will go up to 6.1, and in 2040 that will go up to 7.7 billion annual investment in machines and equipment. That's quite a promising piece of news. However, you of course need to go along on that journey. Now, finally, the four important numbers here. In 2040, we expect 85 million sold passenger cars, electric cars only, internationally. From that, a sales potential for drive components, transmission components comes up of 310 billion euros. In Europe, we see this to be 67 billion euros, and that means capex needs of 7.7 billion euros in Europe in 2040. Thank you very much for your attention. And I'm looking forward to the questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Wittler. And we can take some questions now. So if you have questions, please give us a show of hands and then we would come to you. Any questions? I don't see any question at the moment. Oh, right, there is one. Please go ahead. Without a microphone, the interpreter is truly sorry. There cannot be any translation because the interpreter cannot hear the question.
Ja, das habe ich schon verstanden. I hope this one?
Yeah.
Difficult question. Okay.
That's the magic slide, yeah. So take a picture, all of you.
Ja, aber das ist ein gutes Stichwort.
Yeah, but it's a good idea. In the press folder, you have the press release, and we have not printed all of the material that is available. You have a QR code in the press folder, and by using that QR code, you can download all the information. Another question without microphone. The interpreter is truly sorry. Without the microphone, she cannot give you the benefit of a translation. Ever so sorry.
Ja, danke für die Frage.
Thank you so much for the question. I confirm it. These numbers refer to passenger cars and lightweight commercial vehicles. Those are the numbers for it. And there the stage is very clear. It's prepared on the industry part as regards their capex and their car platforms. It all goes to battery electric cars. That's the clear tendency. We also see it at an international level, not only in the three markets that I outlined. In the future, we talk about markets like India and Southeast Asia, and for them, the whole thing holds true, even if the products maybe look a bit different over there. When it comes to more heavy-duty trucks and vehicles, like medium-sized or very heavy-duty commercial vehicles, we can't give you a very clear single trend yet. As regards the manufacturers of such vehicles, all the technology options are being looked at and also tested. Even now, you can say there is a very broad range of applications for battery electric trucks and lorries that would be suitable. However, there's one other thing, and we can see that in the market of commercial vehicles now. There is a very heterogeneous strategy with very specific requirements, and out of this there are ideas to pursue alternative drives, be it hydrogen, be it ICE engines with hydrogen, be it fuel cell, alternative fuels. So generally speaking, that kind of principle is doable and can be imagined as regards the car and vehicle technology. The question also is, and is important, where do the energy carriers come from and who will be demanding them? That's quite complicated, and all the more, by the way, this is true for mobile machines, where the picture is even more heterogeneous. Thank you. Ken Foley, VDI Nachrichten. It's interesting to see that you have 252 exhibitors from China here. So what about the visitors from China? Will you have visitors from China? And if so, how many? Well, we are very pleased that we have so many Chinese exhibitors here and that we can welcome so many. Interestingly enough, and also because of the initial tendencies, they only registered from China onwards, from February onwards. We have big individual exhibitors from China, in particular in Hall 13. For those of you who are interested in it, there is a big area for laser sheet metal that we were able to establish there. Visitors-wise, it's really difficult to say. We classically expect a good turnout from China, India, ASEAN countries. We have the India Day. We expect a big India turnout. At the end of the day, it will depend as to whether the visa problems in the individual countries were solved sufficiently by the consulates in the countries. Since we have been on our press journey in the countries locally, unfortunately, we had to hear it time again. There are bottlenecks for various reasons, not only from the point of view of EMO, not only in cooperation with Deutsche Messe AG, but with all the trade fair companies. We rather intensively talk to the Foreign Office at the Ambassador Conference in Berlin. We talk to them. The effects we'll see in the next 5 days, but classically we expect a good participation from China and from Asia in general. Frank Kunin, Made in Europe, Metal Europe. 2 questions on the studies. Can you explain us a bit more what you understand by emerging technologies? What kind of technologies are there? And do I understand it correctly that the United States makes up for a big part of the growth in the market? Why is the potential there bigger than in Europe? Answer, yes. Thank you so much. Well, we see the right chart here for this. The emerging technologies are shown here. So everything ranging from thermal systems, then moving to the right-hand side from your view. So those are all the technologies that have to be seen in the context of electric or hydrogen-based drives. And the second part of the question, yes, it is correct. The transformation towards electric vehicles offers a bigger potential in the United States because as a tendency they have bigger vehicles, heavier vehicles there, so the propulsion systems are more expensive and thus they have a higher sales potential. That's the rather simple effect that comes to fruition there. And unit numbers, unit figures wise in our scenario for Europe, and for the United States, we have we have estimated a more or less constant sales volume because those are saturated markets. Right, thank you so much. At the moment, I don't see any further questions. That's the case, then I will close our opening press conference. Mr. Welker, Dr. Wittler, and our two executive directors, Dr. Schäfer and Dr. Hering, I would like to thank them for being here. And I also would like to wish a good trade fair to you, lots of success in your work. If you have any wishes, if you need support, please come to the press center. We will be there the entire week and will want to help you with all the questions you might have. Thank you so much, and I'd like to invite you to join us for the opening ceremony, which happens at 10 o'clock in the hub just next to it, and we'd like to have you there. Thank you so much.